What's up, guys? Sorry for the train in the background. Today we're finally gonna do an update on the Android stereo that I installed in the S2000. Now she's looking pretty sad right now. Obviously winter time, and still looking for a place to store it that's preferably climate controlled, but as of right now we just have it covered. But we'll go ahead and we'll get into this. So today we're going to go over the joying head unit that I installed in the S2000 about 7 months ago now. Go over everything that I like about it, the short list of things that I would change about it, and they're really minor for me at least. For some people they're going to be potentially make or break. But we're going to go over everything, do an update on how it's doing, if I've had any issues or anything else like that, and if it's still something that you should consider buying for your S2K. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Dash and my wife's name is Carissa. Our life revolves around our vehicles and the car community, going to shows, going to rallies, going to the track, doing all of the work ourselves, everything DIY, because not everybody can afford parts and labor. So parts are expensive enough, so we do our best to do everything that we possibly can ourselves, and we try to help others out as well. When I first installed this, I had a Samsung Galaxy, which is an Android phone, and it was great, minus a few things. The one thing is, because it's a wider screen, when you have it on Android Auto, it crops in the sides. It gives up a lot of the screen space, and it looks more like an afterthought. When I switched to an iPhone with Apple CarPlay, now it's wireless. I don't have to worry about anything. It'll automatically connect as soon as I select the CarLink, which I'll show you guys. It takes up the entire screen, and it looks very OEM, very factory, like a modern car with Apple CarPlay. Everything works flawlessly. The maps, Spotify, getting text messages, responding to text messages, using Siri, anything like that. Anything that you typically find with vehicles with Apple CarPlay, you're gonna have that with this unit, and in your S2000 that came out 20 years ago. So it's pretty awesome. The biggest downfall that I see with this unit after using it, and I stated this in the installation video, which I'll link down in the description if you want to go check that out. There's no physical buttons or knobs, so there's no volume knob. So in order to get that, you have to swipe down from the top, select the volume icon, and then it's a little slider. That's my biggest gripe with this head unit. For me, it's really not that big of a deal. It's definitely not make or break for this. I would buy this thing in a heartbeat again. The S2000 has factory stereo controls on the side of the dash, to the left of the steering wheel. With this head unit, it's not gonna just sync up and work. You're gonna have to purchase a specific module or wiring, and there are a few ways to get the factory stereo controls to work with an aftermarket head unit. I've looked into it a little bit. It's something that I will do in the future just to make things a little bit easier and more factory, but I am by no means an expert with wiring. Can't really say what's gonna work. There's a few different options out there. Other than that, I would recommend this head unit to anybody. So now we'll go ahead and start it. And this hasn't been on for a couple of weeks now, so we'll see how long the initial boot time is. And there you go. Not too bad. By the time you're going to be starting driving and everything, it's going to be up and running and ready for you to do whatever it is that you need to do with it. Now here's what your main screen is going to look like. And as you saw when it was booting up, that I had the opening screen set to Honda. And you can go through and change all that in the settings. I'm not going to really go over any of those. The refresh rate on the screen is pretty decent. You see it blur out a little bit. The UIs on these you can change. You can download different apps, pay for different UIs to suit your personal preference. I'm perfectly fine with this one because I'm not sitting here for very long. I usually just turn the car on, go right over here, select CarLink, and then it'll just connect to the phone. To go back on this, you have this little button right over here on the screen, and then you can just select home there. Click off the screen, it'll go back to where it was. This you can click and drag and put it kind of wherever you want on the screen to get it out of your way. In order to connect your phone to this, you need to have your Bluetooth and Wi-Fi on, and this is if you have an iPhone and you're wanting to connect to wireless Apple CarPlay. If your Wi-Fi is turned off, it will not wirelessly connect. If you have your Bluetooth off, it will not connect. So you have to have both those on and be connected through Bluetooth to the stereo for it to wirelessly connect through Apple CarPlay. If you go into your apps here, these are all pretty much the ones that come on this unit itself. And then you have the Play Store, so you can download pretty much whatever you like onto this. As you can see, we have YouTube, and all of these functions can be used while you're driving the car. There's no safety features built in to keep you from doing anything like that. So if you have a passenger and they're wanting to use this or anything else like that, if you want to watch Fast and Furious on a road trip, you can do that with this. You have a home screen button right up here, so if you're in the menu, you can always go back to the home screen by clicking that, and you can drag this down, and there's kind of your standard features for like a tablet on here. You can turn the screen off when you're driving if you want it to be dark, since now in order to have this in here you had to remove the door that covers the stereo. Bluetooth screen, very generic. Radio, very generic. And here is how you control the sound if you don't have it connected to your factory stereo controls. In this top area here, you'll have this speaker icon. You click on that, it'll bring up this slider. And then you can move this up and down. You can tap. If you click the volume icon again, it'll just mute it. Joying also sells a small Bluetooth controller that takes a battery, and you can connect it to the stereo and use that to control your volume, skip tracks, things like that. And then you can mount that wherever you would like to. They usually show it mounted to steering wheels, but I think that looks a little tacky just because it's not OEM, so it doesn't quite look right. So that would be something that you could mount someplace else, someplace discreet, out of the way, easy to access though, and a simple solution for not having a knob to easily turn up and down the volume. I'm going to go ahead, make sure that I am connected to this through Bluetooth. And on your Bluetooth screen, it's going to show up as SYU Android. So make sure that you connect to that. Wi-Fi is also turned on. You don't have to actually connect to this through Wi-Fi. Now for Apple CarPlay, you just swipe over, go to CarLink. And there you have it. It's connected. Now this is the UI for Apple CarPlay on this unit, and as you can see, it fits the full screen. It's on Spotify right now. You can have it set for Maps and Spotify or whatever you're listening to. Pretty much any feature that you are used to with Apple CarPlay, if you've ever had it, you'll have it with this. You can search different destinations, put in your GPS, you can access calls, your contacts are all in here, and when you get notifications, you can select those when they pop up and it will read it to you. Here are your different apps that you have access to, and this is everything that I need, and this is pretty much the only thing that I use on this stereo is Apple CarPlay, because there's no reason for anything else. But again, everything is super fast. You select something, it pops up. You go to your music, pops up. Phone, everything is super smooth, super fast, and this just helps bring the S2000 into the modern era. I absolutely love this car. I love how minimalistic it is, but it is super, super nice having something like this in here. It makes the experience just that much more enjoyable. And granted, this car is a driver's car. It's driver focused, and it's all about the driving experience and miles per gallon. You don't need a stereo like this to truly enjoy this car. And some people will say, well, why did you put a touchscreen in an S2000? It's my car, and I absolutely love it, and I know a lot of people will have a lot to gain by going with something like this. There you have it. So there's probably a lot of things that I didn't mention, forgot to mention, or questions that you have that weren't answered with this video. If you do have any questions about this, if you're kind of on the fence about getting it still, just leave a comment down below. If you like the content that you see, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Do us a favor and help us out by hitting that like button. All of that helps motivate us to keep making content and keep that drive going. So thank you guys for watching.